Okay, here we're looking at revision page for year 7 algebra. So number 1, simplify the following. Well, 1a plus 1a plus 1a plus 1a is the same as 4 lots of a. For b, 3, 5 and 2, so 5, 6, 7, 8, that makes 10 lots of e. C, 3m plus 1m is 4m. And D, 3t plus 9t would be 12t, take away 2 makes that 10t. Alright, now some worded ones. Write 4 more than x using algebra. Well, 4, we've got x, and then 4 more than it would be we would add 4. X divided by 7, if you say it out loud, is obviously x divided by 7. X subtracted from 2, well that's 2 and we're taking away x. Just have a look at it, x subtracted from 2. It makes sense, so always go back to the question. Alright, number 5, simplify the following. Well, here we're collecting like terms, so we're just collecting the a's first. 1a plus 4a is 5a, and 3b plus 2b is 5b. Same as this one. Let's do our r's first. 3r plus r is 4r, and 5s plus s is 6s. Our c's, 9e plus 1e is 10e. Now be careful here, because you've got minus 4m plus 1. Minus 4 adding 1 makes that minus 3m. Quite tricky, that one. D, so let's do our w's. 7w minus 1w is 6w, and 1q plus 5q is 6q. Alright, multiplying. Let's have a look here for number 6. Well, here we always times the coefficients or constants first. So 4 times 5 is 20, and then we have 1e. Over here, 8 times 2 is 16, and then we have w times w, which is w squared. Numbers first, 4 times 2 is 8, and we have 1m times, that's m squared, which gives us m cubed, and a times a times a is a to the power of 3. Alright, moving on. So, number 7, substitute these values into the following expressions and then evaluate. Basically, that means that we're substituting a for whatever a is worth, and then evaluate means we want a number as an answer. So let's do that one for us. So that's going to be 3 lots of 5 plus 2 lots of 3, because a is 5 and b is 3. 3 times 5 is 15, and 2 plus 3 is 6, so 15 plus 6 is 21. For b, so 1 lot of a is 5, plus 2 lots of b, which is 3, plus 3 lots of c, which is 6. So that becomes 5, plus 2 times 3 is 6, 3 times 6 is 18, which means we get 29 when you add it together. 5 plus 6 is 11, plus 18 is 29. Now this means a multiplied by b, and then we subtract c, which was 6. 5 times 3 is 15, so 15 take away 6 gives us 9. So there we substituted, and here we evaluated to get our final answer. Right, expand. So expand the following means whatever in front of the bracket, we multiply it by here. So 4 times a is 4a, and 4 times 5 is 20. So I'll do that here again. So 4 times 2e makes 8e, and 4 times negative 2 makes negative 8. This one, 4x times y means 4x multiplied by y, minus 4x times x would be 4x squared. And factorise. With factorise, we want to take out the highest common factor. So let's have a look at the numbers first. The highest common factor in 4 and 8 is 4, and there's no variables in both terms. So it's the opposite of expanding. How do we get from 4 to 4x squared? We times it by x squared. And how do we get from 4 to 8? We times it by 2. Same here. Highest common factor of 10 and 15 is 5. And now we can see there's at least one y in both parts. Right, how do we get from 5y to 10y cubed? Well, to 5 to 10 we times it by 2. And to get from y to y cubed we times it by y squared. To get from 5 to negative 15 we must times it by negative 3. And there's already 1 in the answer. Good way of double checking this is to expand backwards and make sure you get the same question. 5 times 2 is 10y cubed minus 15y, it works. Let's see. So we want to factorise this. There's no number that is in both terms, so we can only take out a squared from both. And we end up with 8 minus 19, and we need one more a there. A good way to check that you factorised it fully is that you can't again factorise the bracket on the inside. Number 10, expand and simplify. Pretty much as it says, you've just got to expand and simplify. So when we expand to the left, you get 3a plus 15, expand the right, and you get 2a plus 4, and you can add these together to get 5a plus 19, collecting like terms. So it's combining a few of the previous questions. 5 times 2x is 10x, and 5 times negative 2 is negative 10, plus 3x plus 1. 10x plus 3x is 13x, and minus 10 plus 1 makes that negative 9. And here you end up with 4x minus 4 minus 2x. Be careful here because it's minus 2 times 2, which makes that negative 4. And 4x take away 2x is 2x, and minus 4 take away another 4 is negative 8. Alright, solving. Solve the following showing all working out. Because this is multiplied by 4, we do 20 divided by 4 on the other way, on the other side. To get x must be 5. Just double check it works. We think x is 5. 4 times 5 is 20. Good. This is a divided by 3, and the opposite of divided by 3 is times by 3, and 9 times 3 is 27. Right, here, let's be a bit careful here. So you've got minus 3e multiplied. So minus 3 multiplied by equals 21. So the opposite of times by negative 3 is divide by negative 3, which gives us negative 7. Because 21 divided by 3 is 7, and because there's one negative, our answer must be negative. Quite tricky, that one. And for the D over here, you've got a minus 3. Opposite of negative 3 is plus 3, and minus 10 plus 3 must make minus 7. Alright, our last page now. Number 12. For the expression 3a plus 4, answer the following questions. The variable is basically what letter of the alphabet, so that's A. Coefficient is how many of the variable you have. We have 3 a's. The constant is a number by itself, which is a positive 4. Let's do this one. The variable must be x. The coefficient is how many x's are there? Well, there's 1. And the constant is the number by itself, is a negative 1. So don't forget the sign of before it. Quite easy there. 14. Find the value of x. Well, the problem here we've got is we've got x's on both sides of the equation. So what we're going to do is, because it's a positive 3x on this side, we're moving it to this side to make it a negative 3x. So I've done that and that. 7 can stay on the right hand side. Because it's a plus 15, you move it to this side to make it a negative 15. 5x take away 3x must be 2x. Now 7 take away 15 is a negative 8. It's quite a mean question, that one. And because we're timesing by 2, we divide by 2. 8 divided by 2 is 4, and 1 negative makes our answer negative. So the answer was negative 4. Quite tough. 15. 4 bags of sweets and a $5 box of chips cost $10. How much do 3 bags of sweets cost? Alright, well, let's see if we can work this one out. 4 bags of sweets, so I'm going to call that 4s, plus 5 equals 10. Make that look like an s, make that look like a 5. Because it's plus 5, we take away 5 to get 4 lots of sweets must equal 5. Because it's multiplied by 4, we divide by 4. So 2 ways of doing this. Sometimes it's easier to convert that into a fraction, so as in 1 1/4, by making it into a mixed number, because 1 1/4 you actually know should be 1.25. That's one way of doing it. the question now we haven't answered. How much do 3 bags of sweets cost? So what we've got to do is our 1.25 multiplied by 3. 5 times 3 is 15. 2 times 3 is 6 plus the 1 is 7. 1 times 3 is 3. So 3 bags of sweets actually cost $3.75. Make sure you use the dollar sign there. Alright, now some really tough questions at the end. Let's see what this one says. A rectangle has one side 4 centimeters longer than the other. If the perimeter of the rectangle is 14, what is the area? Tough question. Always better to draw it. Has one side 4 centimeters longer than the other. So from my picture, that's the long side, that's the short side. We don't know what the short side is, so let's call it x. So 4 centimeters longer must be x plus 4. The perimeter is 14. Now the perimeter is the outside of the shape, which means if I add all this together, because the top must be the same as the bottom for a rectangle, and both opposite sides must be the same. So if I add it together, it equals 14. Let's add this up. 1x, 2x, 3x, 4x. 4 plus 4 is 8. So the perimeter must equal 14. Because this is plus 8, we move it to the other side to make it minus 8. And 14, take away 8 is 6. Because it's times by 4, we divide by 4. Again, easy way of doing this one is think of it as a fraction. You can simplify that to 3 over 2, which is 1.5. And because it's centimetres, we'll add centimetres in. So this is a 1.5, quite meaning that it's a decimal. Now the question is actually asking for the area of our rectangle. So the area of a rectangle is base times height. Now our base would be 1.5 plus 4, so which is 5.5, and our height in this case is 1.5. So we've got to do 5.5 times 1.5. To do that, I'm going to do some working out over here. 5.5 times 1.5. 5 times 5 is 25. 5 times 5 is 25, plus the 2 is 27. Now times by our tens. 5 times 1 is 5. 5 times 1 is 5. We're going to add it all up. That's 12. 5, 6, 7, 8. And because I ignored 2 decimal places, I add in 2 decimal places, which means our area, going back over here, must be 8.25 squared centimetres. And that's the answers to our revision page.